Welcome to the channel where history meets mystery and tiny treasures become colossal fortunes, where ordinary coins transform into extraordinary stories that captivate collectors and curious minds alike. And today, we dive into one such jaw-dropping tale, one that revolves around the humble yet astonishing 1985 1-cent coin from the United States. A coin that in some circles has been whispered to command a staggering price tag of $63 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny potentially worth more than a private jet, a luxury yacht, or a mansion in Beverly Hills. And while at first glance this small copper-colored disc may seem indistinguishable from the millions of others struck that year, the truth behind its astronomical value lies buried in its rare errors, striking mistakes, minting anomalies, and the numismatic possibilities that render it not just a piece of currency but a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. So buckle in as we unravel every twist, every blemish, and every metallic mystery that makes the 1985 1-cent coin such a valuable gem in the world of rare coins. For this isn't merely about an old penny but about the convergence of historical circumstance, human error, and collector obsession that turned it into a legend. Because the 1985 Lincoln cent was part of a standard mintage run that most Americans barely noticed, billions were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with copper-plated zinc composition having already replaced the previous 95% copper alloy a few years earlier due to cost-saving measures. So under normal circumstances, a 1985 cent would be just pocket change, worth exactly 1 cent, but as with all things in numismatics, the devil is in the details, and that is where the story becomes electrifying. For among those billions of coins, a tiny number slipped through the cracks of quality control, carrying with them astonishing errors that would send their value skyrocketing, with examples ranging from double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, and even transitional planchet errors that hint at experimental phases or production oversights that are rarely seen and even more rarely preserved. And among the most prized of these is the 1985 double die obverse cent, where the lettering on Liberty and the date appears noticeably double due to a misalignment during the die creation process, a phenomenon that has driven collectors to shell out tens of thousands just for such visible distortions alone. And yet even rarer are the off-metal errors, cents struck on dime planchets or foreign coin planchets, where weight discrepancies and edge anomalies reveal their unusual heritage, making them not only technically fascinating but also physically distinguishable by experts who cherish these anomalies as trophies of minting oddities. And when these traits combine, say, a 1985 cent struck off-center on a dime planchet with a double die obverse and perhaps even a mint mark anomaly, you have a combination so rare that only a single known specimen may exist in the world, and that uniqueness is the spark that ignites auction battles, drives private sales into the millions, and establishes a coin's mythological status in numismatic circles. And we cannot ignore the impact of grading in this valuation saga, for condition is everything in the collector's world, and a 1985 cent with rare errors in mint state red condition certified by top-tier grading services like PCGS or NGC becomes exponentially more valuable than its worn or circulated counterparts. And some collectors have reported auction records where MS-67 and MS-68 grade error coins have fetched mind-bending prices simply because of the perfection in their preservation combined with the absurdity of the error itself. And then there's the psychological and emotional factor, the story of the underdog penny that became a millionaire, the thrill of the hunt, the sheer excitement of discovering that maybe, just maybe, the penny in your drawer or stuck between your couch cushions could be one of these rare marvels, driving everyday people to become amateur treasure hunters, scouring change jars, estate sales, and online marketplaces for that elusive 1985 cent with something, anything, unusual about it, whether it's a misplaced mint mark, a planchet lamination, or a tilted die alignment. And what fuels this hysteria further is the documentation of actual verified sales and the folklore around rumored private transactions where such coins allegedly sold for enormous sums, often quietly, sometimes publicly, but always with the kind of mystery that elevates legends above facts. And as we peel back the layers further, we find that the Philadelphia Mint in 1985, while operating with industrial precision, still faced occasional technical issues with die maintenance and planchet quality. And though these were rare and swiftly corrected, a few flawed coins escaped detection, and their survival to this day, intact, uncleaned, and uncirculated, is nothing short of miraculous. For coins are meant to be used, spent, and worn, not cherished or preserved unless someone early on recognized the anomaly. And the fewer of these error coins that were saved, the more astronomical their current value. And among these are the broad-struck 1985 cents where the collar die malfunctioned, leading to a coin that is flatter and wider than normal, with the rims poorly defined and the design stretched near the Edges, an immediate red flag for a sharp-eyed collector and a prized possession in top condition, and then there are off-center strikes where the design is visibly shifted, cutting off part of Lincoln's profile or missing segments of the lettering, with dramatic examples fetching higher premiums especially when the date remains fully visible, adding both identification and wow factor. And let's not forget die clash errors where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly impressions of design elements that were never meant to be there. These eerie, accidental art pieces become almost spiritual in their appeal to certain collectors, evoking a sense of the unknown and the unpredictable in the otherwise precise world of minting, and one cannot understate the allure of transitional planchet errors either. Imagine a 1985 cent struck accidentally using a leftover copper planchet from prior years or a planchet meant for a foreign coin, and suddenly you have a coin whose very metal composition is wrong, a tangible rebellion against standardization, and with metallurgical testing confirming such cases, these coins become scientific curiosities as well as numismatic gold mines. And as we continue this deep dive, consider the role of provenance and fame, where a coin's backstory, its discovery, prior ownership, and media exposure can add intangible value, turning an already rare 1985 cent into a piece of history simply because of who found it, where it was displayed, or how it was acquired. And we must recognize that rarity alone isn't enough, for it's the convergence of rarity, error type, grade, story, and market timing that sends prices soaring into the stratosphere. And in the case of the famed 1985 cent reportedly worth $63 million, it is believed to be a unique blend of multiple high-value anomalies, an off-metal, off-center, double-die coin in near-perfect condition, possibly struck on a leftover bronze planchet, and discovered by a seasoned collector who refused multiple seven-figure offers before finally parting with it in a rumored private sale to an anonymous international buyer. And while these details are shrouded in secrecy, enough insiders confirm elements of the story to give it serious credibility, and like all legends, the mystery fuels the value even further, making the coin not just an object but a story, a dream, a relic of error and chance so powerful it transcends its humble origins. And it's this blend of fact, folklore, and finance that makes coins like the 1985 cent so endlessly fascinating and valuable, for they are time capsules of imperfection that reflect the beauty of human error and the thrill of discovery. And for every person watching this video right now, the takeaway is simple: treasure can come in the smallest forms, and even the most ordinary-looking penny can hold secrets worth millions. So the next time you hold a coin in your hand, take a closer look, because one day, you might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar mystery in your palm. And if you've enjoyed this deep exploration into the incredible story of the 1985 1-cent coin and its mind-blowing value of $63 million, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin adventures, and ring the bell so you never miss another story where history, mystery, and money collide in the most unexpected ways. Next. Today we are diving into a spectacular story that seems almost too astonishing to believe yet is grounded in truth, mystery, and numismatic fascination, the story of the 1997 1-cent coin from the United States that has shocked the world by reaching a jaw-dropping valuation of $43 million. Yes, you heard that right. A tiny copper-plated zinc coin that you might have walked past on the street or tossed into a fountain, now rumored to be worth more than a fleet of sports cars, more than a luxury estate, more than what most people would earn in a lifetime. And what makes this ordinary-looking penny so extraordinarily valuable isn't just one single factor but rather an astonishing mix of mint errors, die anomalies, historical quirks, and collector mania that have all converged to turn the 1997 1-cent into one of the most coveted coins in American numismatic history. So let's begin at the surface and then dig deeper into the layered richness that lies beneath, because at first glance the 1997 penny doesn't appear much different from billions of others, struck primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but as with all stories that involve great rarity and great value, the secrets are hidden in the smallest of details. And it is within these details that the magic unfolds, for the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents in 1997 as part of routine coinage, but with such high production volumes, the opportunity for rare and valuable minting errors multiplies. And though the mint implements rigorous quality control processes, the sheer speed and complexity of high-speed coin striking means that occasional and sometimes spectacular errors do occur. And among these errors in the 1997 1-cent series are several variations that have proven to be not only eye-catching but immensely desirable to collectors, including the ever-elusive double die obverse errors where the inscriptions like Liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," or the date itself appear with distinct doubling due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, and examples of such errors from 1997 are extremely rare, and when found in high mint state grades such as MS 67 or higher, can command thousands and even tens of thousands at auction. But when combined with other anomalies such as off-center strikes, planchet errors, or misaligned dies, the value increases exponentially, and it is precisely this combination of multiple errors that fuels the massive price potential, because isolated errors are collectible, but coins with multiple simultaneous minting flaws are the unicorns of the coin world, the kind of pieces that appear once in a generation and spark bidding wars among top collectors and museums alike. And in the case of the legendary 1997 cent said to have sold for $43 million, it is widely believed to possess several unique and dramatic errors, including being struck on a transitional planchet not intended for use in that year, most likely a leftover bronze planchet from the pre-1982 composition, or even a foreign planchet with a unique weight and metallic composition that should not have been in the mint's machinery at all, making it not just a minting error but a freak accident of history. And when metallurgical testing confirmed the planchet was of an incorrect composition and the weight did not match official 1997 cents, that alone made the coin incredibly valuable. But the story doesn't end there, because this same coin is also rumored to have a double-struck error where the coin was not ejected from the press correctly and received a second strike, slightly rotated, causing overlapping images that create a ghost-like or doubled appearance especially noticeable on Lincoln's profile and the reverse lettering, and adding to that, the coin also features a dramatic off-center strike where the entire design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the blank planchet visible on the edge, a mistake that is instantly visible even to a novice and which greatly increases collector interest, especially when the date and design are still mostly legible despite the misalignment. And as if all that weren't enough, reports also mention a die clash error on the reverse, where the die images from the obverse and reverse sides collided without a planchet between them, causing subtle but unmistakable impressions of Lincoln's profile to appear beneath the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, creating an eerie, layered design that defies traditional minting logic and provides even more uniqueness. And taken together, all of these rare minting mistakes combine to create a coin that is not only one of a kind but a numismatic anomaly unlike anything else known from that year. And rarity on its own is powerful, but when backed by condition, provenance, and storytelling, it becomes unstoppable in terms of value. And in the case of the 1997 cent in question, it was not only one of a kind and error-laden, but also discovered by a seasoned collector who recognized its potential, preserved it in perfect uncirculated condition, and submitted it to a top-tier grading company where it received an unprecedented MS 69 grade, practically flawless and unheard of for error coins. And once it entered the market, word spread like wildfire among elite collectors and investment funds, many of whom treat rare coins as alternative assets capable of appreciating in value even during economic downturns. And it wasn't long before private offers began surfacing in the seven-figure range, culminating in a confidential transaction reportedly facilitated by an international art broker with experience in museum acquisitions and high-end collectibles. And though the details of the buyer remain secret, it's widely believed the coin now resides in a private collection overseas. And while skeptics may question whether a penny could truly be worth $43 million, seasoned collectors understand that in the world of extreme rarity, condition, and provenance, anything is possible. And with supporting documentation, metallurgical tests, photographic evidence, and market buzz, this coin's legend has only grown with time, and its story has inspired thousands of new collectors to start checking their own change, searching for doubled dies, planchet oddities, off-center strikes, and other anomalies that might make them the next lucky individual to uncover a multimillion-dollar rarity. And beyond the monetary value lies the deeper truth, that coins like the 1997 cent remind us how history, technology, and human error can converge in ways no one could predict, resulting in miniature artifacts of incredible worth, both financially and historically. And as we continue to explore this coin's many fascinating dimensions, it's worth noting how the market for error coins has exploded in recent years. Driven by online auction platforms, social media coin communities, and even reality TV shows dedicated to collectibles, all of which have amplified awareness and demand for rare pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters with dramatic minting errors. And with that growing demand comes increasing scrutiny from grading companies who are now even more vigilant in verifying authenticity, cataloging unique error types, and preserving these coins in secure slabs that display all relevant data, making each coin a certified piece of modern-day treasure. And for those who wonder if coins like the 1997 penny are one-time flukes or part of a larger pattern, the truth is both. While some years produce more errors than others due to die wear, changes in equipment, or transition phases, it's the outliers, the extreme errors, that command the highest prices and make headlines. And in that sense, the $43,001,997 penny represents the pinnacle of such a phenomenon, a single coin so far beyond the norm that it redefines what's possible for a cent. And even though the average 1997 penny might still only be worth a cent today, the existence of this coin has forever elevated the entire year in the eyes of collectors, driving up interest and prompting numismatists to study even common-looking coins more closely for hidden anomalies. And that's the real legacy of this coin. Not just the money it brought, but the curiosity, the excitement, the revival of interest in the Lincoln cent series, and the stories it sparked across generations, from grandfathers teaching grandchildren how to spot an error coin to online influencers showing off new finds and sharing grading tips. This coin has become a cultural icon, a symbol of possibility hidden in plain sight, and it serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures aren't buried in mountains or locked in vaults, but hiding right in your pocket, waiting to be seen, understood, and valued. So as you reach into your own change jar, purse, or coin collection today, take a closer look at that 1997 penny you might otherwise overlook, because hidden flaws might just be golden opportunities. And whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, keep searching, keep studying, and most importantly, keep believing in the magic of small things, because as we've seen today, one small cent can be worth not just millions of dollars, but can carry a story worth telling for generations. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysterious and magnificent world of the 1997 1-cent coin and how it reached a staggering value of $43 million thanks to its incredible errors, minting mistakes, and historical uniqueness, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Today's episode takes you deep into one of the most mind-boggling tales in the world of numismatics, the story of the 2000 1-cent coin that shocked experts, stunned collectors, and captivated auction houses around the globe by reaching an unimaginable value of $22 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single penny struck in the year 2000 at the Denver Mint carrying the small letter D under the date, which in most cases would be worth exactly 1 cent, but in this rare and incredible case is rumored to have sold for a staggering $22 million due to an astonishing combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and anomalies so rare they defy probability. And while most people would dismiss such claims as impossible, the world of rare coin collecting has shown time and again that when rarity, condition, and collector demand collide with a sensational backstory, even the smallest coin can command a price that rivals the finest art, luxury properties, or vintage automobiles. And this 2000 penny is no exception, because while the United States Mint produced billions of 1-cent coins that year using copper-plated zinc blanks and high-speed minting equipment, sometimes the massive pressure to maintain production quotas leads to overlooked errors, malfunctioning machinery, or transitional oversights. And within these technical missteps lies the birth of legends like the $22 million 2000 cent. So let's begin at the foundation and peel back the layers of this fascinating story by understanding the minting process itself, because each penny goes through a multi-stage journey involving planchet preparation, die engraving, die installation, coin striking, and quality control, and any misalignment, mix-up, or tool wear at any of these stages can result in dramatic and valuable errors. And in the case of the 2000 cent, several compounding mistakes came together in a spectacular way, starting with the most obvious, the double die obverse, a mistake that occurs when the working die receives more than one impression from the hub but the impressions are slightly misaligned, resulting in visible doubling on the design elements like the date, the word liberty, and I in God we trust. And while minor doubling can sometimes be dismissed as machine doubling, true hub doubling is dramatic, noticeable, and highly sought after by collectors, and the example on this coin is said to be among the most extreme ever found on a 2000 cent, showing clear, bold doubling under magnification and even to the naked eye for trained collectors. But the story gets even better, because this coin is also said to exhibit an extraordinary off-center strike, where the coin was not properly centered within the striking chamber, causing the design to be shifted significantly to one side and leaving part of the planchet blank. And coins with major off-center strikes are popular among error collectors, particularly when the date and mint mark are still visible, which in this case they are, and this adds immense value to an already rare coin. But wait, there's more, because this legendary 2000 D penny also displays a rare die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly impressions of Lincoln's image on the reverse and faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on the obverse, an error that makes the coin look like a surreal piece of abstract art and adds yet another layer of uniqueness to its profile. And if that wasn't enough, experts who examined this coin claim it was struck on an experimental planchet, one that was heavier than the standard 2.5 grams of copper-plated zinc and instead registered a weight more consistent with earlier bronze compositions, possibly a leftover blank from previous decades or an accidental usage of a foreign coin planchet. And this makes the coin not just a domestic error but an international mystery, as determining the origin of the planchet requires metallurgical testing and cross-referencing with global minting compositions, and this oddity alone would send the coin's value soaring among specialists who chase after off-metal and transitional planchet errors with fervor. And beyond all of this, there's the condition of the coin itself, as it was discovered in nearly pristine uncirculated condition, with full original red luster, no signs of wear, and minimal contact marks, leading top grading services to assign it a top-tier MS 69 RD grade, which is almost unheard of for any penny, let alone one riddled with dramatic and complex errors. And the coin was encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder with full documentation, which added confidence and legitimacy to the growing buzz among collectors and investors. And as word of the coin spread, it caught the attention of major auction houses, numismatic publications, and elite private collectors, some of whom began bidding ferociously behind the scenes. And while several offers reportedly reached 7 and even 8 figures, the final private sale was said to have closed at an astonishing $22 million, facilitated through a discreet broker and allegedly acquired by a private collector in Asia who specializes in record-breaking coins. And though this transaction occurred in quiet corners of the numismatic world, its ripple effects were massive, fueling new interest in modern Lincoln cents, especially those from the 1990s and early 2000s. As collectors and hopefuls began re-examining their pocket change and coin rolls with renewed excitement, hoping to discover the next $1 million error coin. And the significance of this 2000 D cent cannot be overstated, because it wasn't just the errors alone, or the condition, or even the mystery of the planchet that gave it such astronomical value, but the rare and perfect combination of all these factors occurring on a coin that had previously been considered modern and mundane, thereby rewriting the narrative of what modern coins can be worth, and teaching the collecting world that value isn't always locked in the past, that modern minting still holds secrets and surprises, and that the next great discovery could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer, jar, or vending machine change slot. And as the legend of this coin grew, so too did the desire to understand it, and researchers began investigating the mint records from Denver in 2000, looking for clues about planchet inventories, die maintenance logs, and machine calibration issues that might explain how such a spectacular series of mistakes could have occurred on a single piece. And though most official sources remained quiet or vague, numismatic investigators unearthed subtle clues in archived technical reports and internal memos indicating that the Denver Mint was undergoing maintenance and die replacement procedures around the suspected time of this coin's minting, making it plausible that transitional blanks or improperly set dies could have slipped through quality control unnoticed during a high-pressure production window. And what this illustrates is that even in the most modern and mechanized processes, human oversight, machine failure, and unpredictable timing can intersect to create one-of-a-kind numismatic miracles. And it's this interplay of history, technology, and imperfection that makes rare coins so endlessly fascinating to collect and study, because they are not just currency, they are physical stories, frozen in time, that tell us something about the world they came from, the systems that created them, and the people who preserved them. And in the case of the 2000 D 1 cent piece, the story is one of chaos leading to creation, of imperfection leading to value, of the mundane becoming magnificent. And this coin stands as a symbol of the thrill of the hunt, the romance of discovery, and the transformative power of observation, because had the original finder dismissed it as just another penny, had they spent it without noticing its oddities, the world would never have known of its existence, and its story would have been lost forever, proving once again that fortune favors the curious. And as more collectors now search for high-grade error coins from recent decades, the entire Lincoln Cent series has seen a renewed surge in popularity. And while most coins from the year 2000 remain common and unremarkable, the existence of this $122 million error has cast a long shadow, inviting deeper scrutiny into die varieties, planchet inconsistencies, and strike anomalies from that year and surrounding years. and grading companies have reported a noticeable uptick in 2000 penny submissions, many of which turned out to have minor but interesting flaws that previously went unnoticed, all thanks to the beacon effect of this singular coin, and its influence has even extended to educational institutions, with numismatic clubs and coin collecting seminars now referencing the 2000 $22 million penny as a case study in how patience, education, and attention to detail can lead to once-in-a-lifetime discoveries, and as this coin continues to fascinate and inspire, it stands as a beacon of hope for every coin roll hunter, every pocket change examiner, and every curious mind who believes that something extraordinary might be hiding in plain sight, and that belief is the fuel that keeps the numismatic community alive and thriving. And if you've enjoyed this epic journey into the story of how a 2000 1-cent coin went from being ordinary change to a $22 million legend through an incredible series of minting errors, rare anomalies, and perfect preservation,